Welcome back to AgriTalk as we continue our broadcast from Colombia, South America. We have made our way now to Medellin, and joining us now is the leader of our group, Secretary of Commerce Carlos Gutierrez. Mr. Secretary, it's been quite a trip so far. We've seen some amazing sights. It's hard to imagine the progress that has been made in a short period of time in this country, because there are still certainly challenges, but it is amazing what the people of Colombia have been able to do, the government of Colombia here has done.
Well, it is remarkable, and just here, we're in Medellin, we're having a nice time. We see families and children playing on the street. At one point, not long ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, this was the crime capital of the world. Today it's a beautiful, calm city. So, yes, a lot of progress has been made, and they can make even more progress with our free trade agreement, and they will make even more progress. That's why it's so important that we get that word out, that the free trade agreement is part of this tremendous advance and progress that they've made.
We know that there are concerns by members of Congress and people in the United States about some of the problems here in Colombia. Well, the message we have seemed to have heard here, though, is don't judge them by the problems they still have, but give them credit for the progress they've made and the progress that they hope to still make, especially with the help from the U.S.
That's exactly right. And you know what a lot of people maybe don't know or forget is that 10 years ago, there was a real concern about whether these guerrillas, Marxist guerrillas, would actually overthrow the government. Today, the government has taken firm control of the country. They've recaptured the territory. And now it's a matter of ensuring that they keep on making progress and not let them go back. So, and the FTA is part of that continued progress.
From the U.S. standpoint, what kind of market will this be? We already do some trading, certainly here in Colombia, but what is the potential here?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that Colombia already has preferences going into the U.S. through the Andean trade preferences. So all of their exports are pretty much duty-free. Our exports pay a duty going into Colombia. What the free trade agreement does is level the playing field and give us duty-free access. So we've already given Colombia access. The free trade agreement goes ahead and gives us access. So from the standpoint of economics, it is so common sense. You know, why would Congress vote to give Colombian companies continued access to the U.S. market and now not vote to give farmers access and small business access to the Colombian market?
From a political standpoint, Colombia is an ally in this region of the world to the United States. Do we risk that if the free trade agreement is not approved?
There's no question. It's probably the best ally we have in the hemisphere, and a long-time ally, and they have stuck with us in spite of criticisms from neighbors who think that they may be too close to the U.S. They've stuck with us, and I think it'd be very hard to explain, very difficult to explain to neighbors, to Colombians, why we didn't approve the free trade agreement, especially after it looks like we're going to approve the free trade agreement with Peru.
The administration is obviously I call it a full court press. Several of these trips have been made here, and I would guess more are probably going to happen.
Absolutely. We'll do as many as we need to ensure that when members of Congress say that they have a point of view about Colombia, the first question to ask them is, have you been to Colombia? And if the answer is no, then I think they owe it to the American people and to people around this hemisphere to ensure that they know what they're doing when they make a vote, because there's too much at stake.
It's hard, I think, for people that have not been here to imagine what this is like and what these people have gone through, still go through in some case. When you have the guerrillas, you have the drug lords, you have the paramilitary out there. I mean, some of these people have been caught in terrible situations. That's why so many of them are displaced by violence.
Well, that's right. And a big part of what the government has done is found ways to train people when they're displaced and find them jobs. But that's another part of why this whole effort, what started out under President Clinton, the Plan Colombia, makes so much sense. Because another benefit is that it takes the drug business on, and it takes drugs off our streets. So there's so many reasons why we should be interested in this, and there's so many reasons why we should approve this free trade agreement.
As we make our way again on the cable car here at Medellin and seeing the sights here, it's amazing. Any concern? Really don't know what's going to happen with President Uribe here. whether or not he can continue or not when his term is up. So he's a very popular president, obviously. But would a change in the government here or the administration have any bearing on the free trade agreement?
Well, no question about it. President Uribe is on his second term, 70% approval rating. So Colombians like what they see. They like what he's doing. I think that the important thing is that there's been a path that has been developed in secure democracy, secure economic gains, and secure social gains. I don't think any Colombian wants to go back. So I would say that because this is such a vibrant democracy, anyone who wants to get elected in the future is going to have to determine and convince people that they can make even more progress based on what President Uribe has already done.
There's been so much attention focused on the violence with the union members and judges. Are you satisfied that the government here is making significant steps in changing that situation and making it safe?
Yes, there's no question they've been doing that not just the last year. They've been doing that ever since President Uribe arrived in office. And violence, total violence has been reduced. And within that reduction, union violence has been reduced. So yes, union members are caught up in the violence, but this is not against the union members. They have been part of the problem. And with the reduction in violence, there's been a reduction in union violence. The government has a subunit of the Justice Department focused on union cases. They've actually paid for government-sponsored security for union members. So they're doing everything they can. And the question is, how is it we're going to help them make progress by not granting them a free trade agreement? And if the concern is that we really want to help the people of Colombia, then the answer is very easy. Then the Congress should approve the free trade agreement.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for your time. We're going to stop and take a look at just how high we are here. It's amazing how far we've gone. Thank you for being with us and hosting us on this trip.
Thanks for being here, President.
Secretary of Commerce Carlos Gutierrez. We'll take a break. Back with more on AgriTalk from South America after this.